Yo, what's good YouTube? In today's video, I got y'all the new top 5 meta loadouts to use in Season 6. If you enjoyed the video, let's break 200 likes. Make sure y'all subscribe, all notifications turned on, and let's get into it. All right, so the first gun we're starting out with here today is going to be the CR56 AMAX. So within the Season 6 update, there were absolutely zero nerfs to any gun in the entire game, which honestly is a pretty decent thing. So we have this, which actually caught a pretty nice buff to its bullet velocity, a couple of its damage ranges. So the AMAX is going to be hitting real nasty right now. So first thing, magazine, you guys can use either extended mag 1 or extended mag 2. Totally up to you and what you want to run. I've recently had a decent bit of luck even before the update. Running extended mag 1, it just feels really good. I feel really agile, mobile, and it gives you more of that Warzone 1 vibe because the AMAX only had a 45 round mag. So I'm going to choose that, but you guys could use essentially either which one. It does not matter. After that underbarrel section, I'd suggest for y'all to use the vertical foregrip. This is not really up for personal choice. You should use the vertical. This is, objectively the best way to use this thing, so you should be using it this way. Barrel section, this is where you do get a little bit of personal choice, but honestly, with the gate twist barrel, we're already at 51 meters of damage range. And see, at the reinforced barrel, we get out to 63, which is pretty ridiculous, and an 1125 bullet velocity. So if you're playing Rebirth Island exclusively, and you maybe want to run the reinforced instead of the gate twist, perfectly acceptable to do. But with that kind of damage range and bullet velocity on both barrels, you really can't go that wrong. I will say though, I prefer to use the gain twist. I just like that faster bullet velocity, especially since you can't really run a suppressor on this thing. Actually, well, speaking of suppressors, next up, we are throwing on the compensator. This is not one of those guns where you are going to be running a mono suppressor. This thing's got way too much kick and recoil for you to be able to do that. I do not recommend. I'd suggest to exclusively go for the compensator. Other ARs, you might be able to get away with it, but for this one, not so much. Optics section, this is where we can kind of use a few different things in here. One of my personal favorites being the Volziski Reflex or even the Dobrich MF Reflex. Both of these are going to be great options for a reflex sight, and you can even go down here, use something like the Jason Armory 2X and the Willis 3 times. The Willis 3 times is what I've actually used a bit more recently, and I've been absolutely hitting with it. So I really like the Willis 3 times, and this right here is my absolute heater AMAX build. Next up, I gotta give y'all a build here for the C9. Just to put this out there, I know the MP40 is in the game. There's a new AR that's in the game, but we don't have enough data and test time on them in order to be able to say, hey, these are actually gonna be good or not. So we have to give you guys what's going off of like patch notes, statistics, stuff like that. And the C9 is not going anywhere because obviously it didn't get nerfed. So first thing, magazine, I want y'all to use extended mag 2. Just slap that bad boy on there. After that, in the underbarrel section, I know a lot of people like to run the vertical foregrip. That's perfectly acceptable. It's not like this gun got a nerf, so you should be using the vertical foregrip or the Ranger foregrip. It's up to you, but I prefer to use the Ranger. Barrel section, I would say to go for the long barrel here. We are using this exclusively for close range, so there's not really a reason for us to use it for anything else otherwise. It's not like it's sniper support. We're just using it for close range. So slap that on there, get that maximum damage range, and our bullet velocity is perfectly fine. The only other thing I could see you substituting it for would maybe be the reinforced barrel. I was about to say the gain twist, but the reinforced barrel, and that'd be mildly acceptable, but overall I'd say the long barrel is the move. After that, I'm going to go back in here to the rear grip section. I personally don't care to run a muzzle on this thing. I'm going to go for the ergonomic grip. I really actually enjoy using this. Quite fun to be able to use. So I'd say that overall this is really solid and you guys should be using this. Then for the stock section, I want y'all to go ahead and use the balance stock or the infiltrator stock. Either which one is going to be good. Really fun to be able to use either which way. I actually dropped a 59 kill game using the TAC 56 and this exact build here with the C9 using the infiltrator stock. So it's an absolute heater. Now let's jump in here and give y'all a build with the Kilo 141. This is still probably going to be one of the most, if not the most dominant ARs, which I'm not mad, right? We have a nice haunting event, throwback haunting event that, obviously happened in the original Verdansk. And we have one of the original ARs that's actually really good to use. So first thing, magazine, I want y'all to use extended mag 2. This right here is the absolute move. We do not go for extended mag 3 or extended mag 1. I'm also a 60 round mag kind of guy, so I prefer to use this thing anyways. Underbarrel section, vertical foregrip. No reason to go for the G grip. The G grip was not buffed or touched really at all. It's not like it's going to be better than it used to be. So I'd say just to go for the vertical. Barrel section, a lot of people like to go between the gain twist and the reinforced barrel. Personally, I prefer to use the reinforced barrel just because I am going to be altering up the bullet velocity even more so. So for me, I enjoy the reinforced. It gives me that extra damage range. I get great bullet velocity out of it. And honestly, this works out solid for me. But of course, you can run it with the gain twist. Keep in mind, you will just have less damage at effective range, which is 45 meters instead of 56. So I believe it makes a difference, and I'd rather run the reinforced. After that muzzle section, I would say I'm going to go down here and run the mono suppressor on this thing. Really nice thing to be able about the Kilo is that you can actually run a suppressor. It is low enough recoil that even if you don't use anything else to control the recoil, you still can use the mono suppressor. I don't know really what happened there, but mono suppressor, and that takes us out to 62 meters of damage range and a 1357.5 bullet velocity. Absolutely wonderful. After that, for a final thing, you guys can go in here, run an optic if you want to. I'm actually not going to run an optic, but I'm just kind of putting this out there. You definitely can run like a Volzinski, Dobrich. Same thing as like the AMAX, a 2X, 3X. The 3 and 2X might be a little bit better. I've actually ran the 2X a decent bit with the suppressor, and it feels incredible. I've downed so many people with that. So that those would be great options. Also helps your recoil kick, because obviously it's not like we're using recoil springs if you have an optic. But my preference is actually to go ahead and use the recoil springs. That way I can go absolutely ridiculous and use the iron sights, and it's just a lot of fun. So I really enjoy the iron sights, and this right here is the full build. Next up, I want to get y'all in here a build for the Compact 92. This is a really fun SMG. Also caught a pretty nice buff, just like its sprint to fire, aim locking, movement speed. So overall, I felt the things that it was lacking, what it made, like, you know, and it had a great stopping power. It just didn't have as much speed as these other SMGs. Keep in mind, the Jackal PDW still really good. I probably will get questions about that, but I'm just trying to show you guys things that got buffed and are really good, and I only got 5 slots, you know? So let's hop in here. Magazine, I want y'all to use Extended Mag 2. I don't really think Extended Mag 3 is all that worth it. I'd say I prefer the less cons you get with Extended Mag 2 that you can see right down here below my face cam. 19 and 12% versus 29 and 15% and 24. So it does hinder you a decent bit in comparison to, you know, Extended Mag 2. So I'd say this works out a little bit better overall. Underbarrel section, I personally like going for the Ranger foregrip. This for me feels incredible. So I like using the Ranger, and I'd suggest for y'all to go ahead and use that as well. Barrel section, a couple different options in here. Basically, one being the long barrel, which is kind of how I feel like I normally end up using it. But the other really great option is the integrated suppressor barrel, which is going to be great because 14.4 meters versus 15 meters. Not really going to notice that 0.6 to keep it a stack with y'all, but if you don't mind being unsuppressed, get the absolute maximum damage range of that 15 meters versus throwing this on there. But of course, you're gonna get that bullet velocity. You're gonna be having, I feel like, a slightly different iron sight, and it's gonna be off the radar. So honestly, it's like a 3-for-1 right here. I'd probably say to go for this as opposed to long barrel. That way we can have a better build overall. After that, we're gonna go to the rear grip section here, and I'm actually just gonna throw on the ergonomic grip. This is wonderful. You guys also can throw on the quick draw, really solid. Absolutely the quick draw as well, but the ergonomic will feel great. And then to balance this thing out, since I know it's got some recoil, we can use the recoil springs on this thing, and it will feel like an absolute laser beam. I'd suggest for you guys to use this. And then, like, if you don't want to use like the recoil springs, obviously take them off. You will deal with some recoil, but then you can throw on like an infiltrator or a balance stock, something like that, and have an absolute blast with that. But for the mass majority, I think recoil springs will be the move. And for the final gun here today, I'm going to be giving y'all a build for the SOG. So the SOG actually caught probably one of the bigger buffs for an SMG in the update, and all of its damage ranges, mobility, all that sort of fun jazz. So honestly, it's going to be really good. So let's get y'all a build here for it. Magazine, Extended Mag 2, this is going to be the move, of course. Underbarrel section, I'd say just to go for the Ranger foregrip, though. Once again, like the C9, the vertical is still perfectly acceptable. Say to go for the Ranger, though. That's my personal preference, and especially when I'm going to have you guys building this, you won't really need the vertical foregrip. Barrel section, I'd say to go for the long barrel. I know some people like to go for the reinforced barrel. Personally, I don't care as much for it. It does hit. Don't get me wrong, it will still hit, but 17.2 meters does feel pretty nice in damage range. So we're just going to slap that bad boy on there. At that muzzle, we're gonna go throw in the compensator just because this gun, out of any of the SMGs, will have that tendency to move. It's like the Jackal. The Jackal, by the way, for any guys that are skipping through this video, is still really, really good. It didn't get nerfed. So if you like your Jackal build, stay with your Jackal build. But the compensator is going to be the move on this gun. It does significantly help this thing feel more stable and less like it wants to get away from you while you're fighting somebody. Lastly, you can either go for a rear grip or a stock. If you're going to go for a rear grip, just go for something like an ergonomic, and you guys will be completely taken care of. You can run it exactly like that. Or you can take that off and go for a stock, maybe run a balanced stock, which will give you the nice double green arrows here for basically everything, which is really nice, make you feel very, very fast. Or you can go for the infiltrator stock here, and that'll be good as well. So balanced stock, you guys want to run it like this, or if you want to just not run a stock at all, run the grip, you can do that too. But that's my top 5. Guys, enjoyed it, give it a like, subscribe, to those notifications turned on. Check out this other video on screen, and I'll see you all next time.